Welcome to King Says So, a channel that advocates for one Africa, one land, one Africa, one language, one Africa, one currency, one Africa, one army. I wish to witness Africans all around the world united as one in our lifetime. Enjoy. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy King053, Mr. Easy Imale Nengi, and we're back at it again. And I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in on King Said So, the pro-African, pan-African podcast channel that advocates for everything that has to do with pushing the African agenda forward. What is the African agenda forward? That is an independent Africa from the rest of the world, an Africa that can exist on itself, an Africa that can coexist within the countries that we have in Africa, and an Africa that can aid the world. We must stop being people who are asking for donation, but we can help other countries when they are in need in the world. That is the Africa that we want to see, an Africa that is united when one of us is attacked, an Africa that stands up and defends that one country. That is the Africa we are talking about. Anyway, today I'm speaking about the Patriotic Alliance leader, the founder, the CEO, the chairperson, the president of the Patriotic Alliance, Gayton Mckenzie. Now, one of the things that have made Gayton Mckenzie famous is the death penalty. Him saying that if he becomes president, he will bring back the death penalty. Very interesting thing. Many people who have suffered a loss of a loved one would agree with this. Some people will speak against this. And I just wanted to say, Gayton for me is a nice person, but not a good politician. He's an okay-ish politician, not a great politician. For me, it's because of what he continuously advocating for and against. It raises red flags for me to say, no, there's something offish about him. And when he had this interview at this podcast, what is the name of the podcast now again? The name of the podcast is Wide Awake Podcast. When he had an interview there, I listened to the interview and I wanted to cover two critical things that made me know Gayton better than ever. And I hope people will take these two things and remember them for the rest of their life when they are dealing with Gayton Mckenzie. One is how he spoke about his father, his honest father who was a shop worker, was working in a store, and he was an honest man who earned an honest living. That is who Gayton Mckenzie's father was, according to him, not according to anyone else. Gayton Mckenzie's neighbor was a gangster, and from 8 years old, he looked up to his the material things that his neighbor had, and he longed to be like the gangster and not like his father. You don't have to take it from me. Let's hear exactly how he phrased it, because the way he phrased it is so important for us to analyze what Gayton Mckenzie, how Gayton Mckenzie's psyche was working from the age of 7, 8 years old. Let's listen quickly.
A bunch of things from a very early age. So, I mean, you said in an interview that you already knew that you were going to be a criminal when you were 8 years old. How could you know that? And why did you want to be one, or did you just know that it was inevitable?
Both. I wanted to be one, and I knew it was inevitable. Firstly, I'll tell you why I knew I wanted to be one, and then I'll tell you why it was inevitable. Firstly, my father was a storeman. My father was the most honest man I've ever met in my life.
My father as well.
My father, and just to show you the level of his honesty, I'll make you two quick examples. We would have he would fix cash registers. And the old cash registers, people would forget money underneath the drawer of the cash register.
Mm-hmm.
And we would have no food in the house, and my father would find money in one of the cash registers. And he would refuse for us to use that money. And my little brain would tell me, but nobody saw this money. We can use it. And he said, no, my son. Second thing is, my mom gave me, I think, $20 then. And I went to go buy ice cream. And the ice cream man on the street gave me 40-something rand change. The ice cream was 5 rand. My father made me go look for that man. I prayed for us not to find that man. After 4 hours, I started praying for us to find that man. So that was my father. So my father, there was no food in our house. My father was just a storeman. My neighbor was a bank robber. My neighbor had all the food, all the girls, all the cars, all the clothes, all the life. Now, for an impressionable mind, I knew I never wanted to be my father. I wanted to be my neighbor. At the age of 8, then the question I'm answering is the question that, did I want to become a criminal? Yes, I wanted to become a criminal. The second part of the question is it inevitable? Yes, it was inevitable. I am an alpha male. I am not the smartest, but surely not the dumbest. And I could never say boss and missus. I could never be subjected to my father to report to the most stupidest white person you can meet on the... He can't even spell his own name correctly. I saw my father's boss one day writing railway incorrectly. While I'm standing there as a 7-year-old and I knew how to spell spoorweg, which is a railway. And he couldn't spell it, he was my father's boss. So I was not my father. So it's inevitable for us. Many people call us gangsters today, criminals, but they've not grown up like we've grown up. They were not told by the state that you can't become this. They were not told by the state you get a substandard education. They were not told by the state that you can only live here and you can only apply for this job and you can only go to this university, you can only go to this school. You are not... So that's why I've got the world of respect for any colored or black man that has not turned out a criminal.
Now, if you look at the stats of how a fatherless household, children of a fatherless household turn into criminals, how they drop out of school, how they are more likely to commit a crime, a fatherless home is a disadvantage for any child growing up in South Africa, especially in the black community. But here we have Gayton Mckenzie growing up with his father, and his father is an honest man. To such a point, when people leave money in the cash register, he will not steal them. He will refuse to use the money. He was so honest that he made Gayton look for an ice cream man, just like you had, who he gave 20 rand, but that man gave him more money as change. That is the father figure that Gayton Mckenzie have. Many criminals I've heard and spoken to. And I'm privileged to say I've even went to speak when we were doing community works in prisons. I've held home cells, Bible studies in prisons. So I'm privileged to say I've spoken to many prisoners. The underlining line for almost all of them is a lack of a father figure in their life. They are longing for that. They want someone. Even if you look at women, small girls that are prostituting, and that have no direction in life. When you zoom into their family dynamics, you realize that there's a father figure missing. That is the honest truth. Now, with that type of a father figure that Gayton Mckenzie had, he chose, he said he knew he was destined to be a gangster. He chose to look down to it and look up to this gangster who had all the clothes, all the women, all the cars, all the beautiful things. He chose from that age. It's not me who's saying it. He chose from that age to say, I am going to be a gangster. He says from 12 years old, he could disassemble and assemble a gun, committing house robbery, multiple bank robberies, looking for that money. Why? He wanted to be like this gangster, his next door neighbor, and not like his father. That is the type of caliber of politicians we have in South Africa. Imagine as a father, you are trying by all means to show your son the righteous way. And I know you can take the donkey to the river, but you can't force it to drink. But you as a father, when it's like someone says, you can't be smoking and tell your child you don't smoke. Even though you can show your child that I am sick because I'm smoking, so you must not smoke. Your child will still not fear smoking. They will smoke it because they see their father doing it, even though it's hurting the father. Understand? That's why some of us has chosen to stay away from those things. No alcohol, no smoking. If you have to consume as whiskey or something, it can't be in front of the eyes of the children, because the children, it's monkey see, monkey do. They don't understand the consequences that come behind every action they make, and they might make actions that are supposed to be made by adults, and they suffer as children. Now he has went to prison multiple times, and now that he is a politician who is proud to say he has employed many ex-convicts, many ex-criminals, because as an ex-criminal, it's difficult to get a new job. He turns his back against everything he believes and how his life, the trajectory of his life, the way he has climbed up from being a gangster to becoming a businessman. We don't know if is it out of honest money or what, we're not sure, up to being a politician. He then changes his mind. He says, I want to bring a death penalty back. Let's listen to the conversation he had, because I think this young German boy who was interviewing him asked him the right questions that I would also have asked him. Let's quickly listen, and then I'll do my final commentary on Gayton Mckenzie.
I was young, I was colored, and I didn't give a damn.
And a big guy as well, yeah.
A very big guy. I mean,
Yeah.
like, my first day in jail, I got into the biggest fight in prison.
Can you tell us about it?
Yes. I came in. There's this guy that said they wanted to teach me a lesson. Because my case was in the newspapers. And in prison, they would talk, hey, Gayton has been found guilty, he's coming. And somebody said, I'm going to show that Gayton. And I came in jail. And there's this guy's name is Veve.
Yeah.
And I just walked in, I gave a guy some money. I said, who's the most powerful guy there? And he said, he's Veve. I was sitting on a turn. I called another guy. I remember I had a 150 rand. I gave the first one 50 rand. I said, who's the most powerful guy? He said, Veve. I called another guy. I said, who's the most powerful guy again? He said, Veve. That's when I was sure it's Veve. And I got the last 50 rand. I gave another guy. I said, what do they do here when you hit a prisoner? He says, they take you to solitary confinement. I realized these ones are going to want to kill me tonight to prove a point. And I gave him 50 bucks. I said, go tell that wardens I'm not scared of them. And I walked over to Vere and I fucked him up. I tell you, I cut him open with my fist. I kicked the living daylights out of him. And the wardens beat me up, and I went, my first day, I straight went to solitary confinement for 3 months. And I just think that for me, people ask me, why do I believe in God? I said, it's impossible for me not to believe in God. Where I was to where I am now, it cannot be. It's so hard to explain to people that who I was, man, I was a dangerous guy. And people say that for people to fear them. I don't want you to fear me.
I won't, don't worry.
Yeah. No, you will. If we were in jail, you would have.
Yeah, in jail, maybe, yeah.
But what I'm saying is that people say these things to look big. I've got everything I want or that money can buy for me. So it's not about wanting to be feared, but who I was to where I am today. It's only my mother that truly understood that something must have happened and God happened for me to be who I am today. It's only God. It can be nobody else. I look at the picture at my sister's house the other day. I was showing my guys. There's 16 people in the picture.
How many of them are alive?
I'm the only one. I was in the middle of that picture. I was so emotional. I look at this picture and I looked for somebody other than me being alive in that picture. And everybody was dead. And it is the hardest thing to explain to people how God has changed my life. So that's why I don't get offended when people bring up my past.
Yeah.
Because I don't live there anymore.
Yeah.
I'm saying to people, I was saying to the Sunday Times, when they interviewed me once, I said to them, I'm never going to look for a job. I've got businesses that's very successful. I'm quite all right.
You said that people should be given the death penalty, or they should bring back the death penalty, right? If you believe in second chances, how can you justify that?
I said I said the death penalty should come back. I didn't say the death penalty should come back as your first crime. I can't kill a person that has committed a crime. Then I kill you. I'm talking the reason why, and that's what you must understand now when I give you a real answer here. What you must understand is there's war in Ukraine. There's war in Sudan. There's war in Yemen. There's a conflict between the Palestinians and the Israelis. If you take the death toll among all those 4 wars I've mentioned, it doesn't even make half of our death toll. And we are not at war. We've got 68 people dying here every day.
Are you talking about in the colored community?
No, in South Africa.
In South Africa, okay.
We've got 68 people dying every day. There's 4 wars I've mentioned. And the people dying in those wars are not even what we are experiencing here. How do you sort this out? You sort this out by making sure that the people that keep on giving the same instruction for people to be killed, they must die. I can't kill a first offender. I believe in rehabilitation. I believe in giving people more chances. But if you kill 10 people, what more chance do you need? You must die.
I just don't see how the death penalty solves any of those problems.
Let me show you. Let me ask you a question. When I am in jail, let me make a jail example because we talk about jail.
Yeah.
I'm serving 100 years in jail. You come in. I kill you. It happens. I get another 50 years. He comes in. I kill him. I get another 50 years. I already know I'm not going out with my 100. He comes in. I kill 10 people in jail.
Yeah.
What solution do you have? What do you mean it doesn't solve?
The solution for me would be to separate hardened criminals to petty criminals. I feel like that would be a better solution.
You would not be in jail.
No, I mean I haven't, but
Corruption.
yeah, I just know the way jail works in South Africa isn't working.
No, where jail works everywhere. People die in American prisons. People die in all the
Yeah,
prisons.
but I'm saying the reform in South African prisons is very low.
Corruption will make them reach whoever they want to reach. They pay a warden. What if I kill the wardens? Let's leave the prisoner. Can you separate me from a warden as a prisoner?
I feel like you can, yeah.
Excuse me?
To an extent, yes. To an extent, I know what you're saying, but I still don't believe that the death penalty will solve any
No,
of
I'm
that.
trying to show you
Yeah.
that you can't separate a warder from a prisoner. It's virtually impossible. Unless you're gonna make the prisoner starve to death, it's just not.
Yeah, you
Then
need
got
to
a human
isolate them more, yeah.
It's worse than then the prisoner is gonna wish to die, he's gonna kill himself. I mean, like, here's the issue. In this country, you have people that keeps on killing people because the worst thing happened to them is jail. They can go to jail and come out of jail again. Surely, you look at Botswana, the lowest crime rate. Why? They have the death penalty. Botswana has the lowest crime rate in Africa. You think it's a coincidence?
What would you do then if someone is wrongfully convicted
No.
of a crime and they get the death penalty? Which happens a lot in South Africa, is wrongful convictions.
Yeah, but there's no death penalty here. South African,
No, but if they brought it back, I'm saying.
yes, I'm saying to you that when we say we bring the death penalty back, it's not just the death penalty is back. It goes hand in hand with a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff being, we fix our justice system.
It definitely needs to be
We
fixed,
make
yeah.
sure that not only rich people can access legal aid. So there's a lot of things that goes with that.
Yeah.
But the end in mind is when we have fixed all of that. Do you think there's a difference between sending a person to life for jail has been wrongfully convicted and years after he's died? I always find this argument fascinating. I know of guys that has not committed a crime.
Mm.
Because I knew I committed that crime and this guy is in jail. And he is my friend. And long after he died, he has served 25 years. What's the difference? He was still wrongfully convicted. He spent his life in jail.
Yeah.
What I'm saying to you is that no matter what, people like yourself, you have that stance that it doesn't solve until your dad gets killed, or your child gets killed, or your mom gets brutally killed in the house. Then you would want those people to be hanged. But while you're isolated from death, while you're isolated from the hurt that we see and people dying, you might think it doesn't solve. But we that live, not a single day that I've been on this earth, nobody has not been killed on the Cape Flats. So I'm speaking to you now, somebody's dying. And when you live amongst death like we do, and you know it's an instruction for this person to be killed, you know the people that always gives the instructions. You see the very same people driving flashy cars and they can't be touched. I'm going to kill them.
Now, you would think that a person who would call for a death penalty is a person who, number one, has never been to jail. Number two, did not grow up around friends that have been to jail. Number three, has not committed a crime in their life, has not had killed or did anything to anyone. That is a person that will feel some type of anger to people that commit crimes and say, I don't understand why are they committing this crime, so let's hang them. And we must go back in South Africa, even in America, everywhere, and understand why the hanging was used. It was an element, a tactic to install fear into the black people's mind, to say, we are going to make an example out of this one so that fear can enter you, so that you must be afraid of us. That tactic never worked. The greatest young man at 21 years old who was hanged was Solomon Mahlangu, also my homeboy, who said when he was wrongfully accused of a crime that he did not commit, a crime he did not commit. He said, you can hang me, it's fine. They asked him, Solomon, what is your last words with this death penalty that the apartheid government had? He said, it's fine, you can hang me, but let my people know that my blood will nourish the tree that will give birth to the fruits of freedom in this world. That is what Solomon Mahlangu said. That is what Solomon Mahlangu said. You know, his greatest words, man, for me, they will forever ring in my heart. You know, as a young man that grew up in Kwandebele, I will always respect what Solomon Mahlangu said, and I want to quote him for word because he really made a difference in the way I think of not being scared of death. You know, though I walk through the valley of death, I shall not fear no evil. He says, my blood will nourish the tree that will bear fruits to freedom. Tell my people that I love them, that they must continue to fight. Aluta continue. That is what Solomon, my goodness, these are powerful words. So the death penalty, its job was to make us scared to stand up. Even though we were wrongfully accused, at 21 years old, Solomon has seen many people being hanged, heard about many people he had no fear. He said, tell my people that I love them. Alita continue. They must continue fighting. That is the death penalty that the president of the Patriotic Alliance wants to bring back to South Africa. But the contradicting thing that he's saying, he says, I'm not going to just hang people. You must kill 10 people, then we'll hang you. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't work like that. The gentleman is asking him, what are you going to do with people who are wrongfully accused of murder, of rape? What are you going to do with those people who get a lifetime sentence and they are wrongfully accused? He says, Gayton surprisingly says, I know of a friend of mine that I created a crime, but he is in jail. That is what Gayton says. So you can't be pro ex-convict and be pro rehabilitation of criminals after they come back to the community and then turn your back around and say, no, we're going to hang people who kill people. Just like Gayton Mckenzie says, the situation of coming to murder, it's crazy. Let me pull out some stats for you guys so that we can check out some stats, some interesting stats, okay? So, which one can I start with? Let's start with the 2022 South African 2022 crime stats, okay? It says murder. Okay, but this is, okay, it says murder 446, 432, that is 56 murders. I think Gayton Mckenzie made a reference to this, that about 56 people die every day, okay? Per day, that's how many people die. Okay, attempted murder, that's like 64. Serious assault, they call it GBH. 600 people murdering each other, 611 people murdering each other. Total of sexual offenses, look at that, 1,345,973. That is 168 people every day who are sexually assaulted. Robbery and aggravating, aggressive, robbery, aggravating, it says 2 million, and then assaults, malicious damage to property, Guys, you can see the stats, how what is going on here. And let me pull. So the highest crime rate actually in South Africa is in Northern Cape, which is the province I'm in. But it is because of the population is so low. When you count what do they call it, highest proportion in terms of per capita or something like that, when they count the total number of people and how many crimes, and they divide it into whatever, Northern Cape has got the highest, but it's only 24,000 what do you call, house breakings that are hold there. So you can see in Gauteng is 300. And guys, you need to have alarm system and security system in your house. Don't be like in Gentle Lux and you don't have a camera system in your $1 million house. Don't do that. Have and I know that is luxuries that we can't afford, but let's try to get those things, some type of security in our houses, because the likeliness of, when I was staying in Kimberley North, I think a year we got broken into, I would say 5 times in a year. And not inside the house, but the cars that outside would be the windows smashed and stuff like that. About 5. That's why I moved out of that stupid place, Kimberley North. And then when we see the most dangerous cities in South Africa, we've got Cape Town in the Western Cape with 2,765. That is 30 per day, guys. And then that is followed by Joburg. It's funny that the DA claims that they are governing better than the ANC, but in their Cape Town, they've got more number of crimes reported a day than Johannesburg, of which Johannesburg's population is more than the Cape Town, or more than the Western Cape. It's crazy. Durban also, I'm not shocked. Durban is number 3. Mitchell Plain again in Western Cape. Nah? Phoenix again in KZN. Park Road in Free State. Wow, I'm shocked about that one. I did not see Free State, Limpopo, Northwest, and Northern Cape here. But anyway, there's Free State. And then Roodepoort in Gauteng. That's expected. Mfuleni in Western Cape, Hillbrow, and Midrand. Those are the dangerous cities that if you can, just avoid staying there and building a family there. So that's what I wanted to say. In conclusion, the death penalty is not going to work, because if the death penalty was to be implemented, people like Gayton Mckenzie would have never got a second chance in life. So you have to think when you talk. You have to think when you talk. You can't want something that you feel you did not deserve, because you survived. You survived after all the bank robberies and armed robberies that you did, assaulting people, hitting people, even in prison. You did not want to change. The first day you came into prison, you wanted to fight someone and beat them half dead. You went to, they took you to a cell where you're going to stay alone, because of the violent nature of a person you are. According to his own admission, he is a person that deserved a death penalty. But South Africa gave him a second chance, and look where he is today. It baffles my mind why a person would think that death penalties is something that is a solution. I say toughen up the conditions. My solution is toughen up the living conditions of prisoners in the prison systems, that they must not enjoy a day in prison, especially when they are convicted of full evidence of murder, multiple stab wounds, shot and killed them, wife and children and whatever. Those people must not be even in a cell where they can stand up straight. They must be in a small cell and be treated like that, to the point where they wish for death, but they can't get it. For me, that will be the solution, and people will know if I go to prison for that, I'm going to regret it for the rest of my life, and I'm never coming out. But killing a soul, for me, it's not right. It's not right. Maybe I should do a video of analyzing the top 10 toughest prisons in the world. I used to watch those things on National Geographics back in the days when I still had DSTV. Hey, I'm suffering. I couldn't watch the rugby because I don't have DSTV. I couldn't watch it. I could only watch highlights. I can't watch a lot of things because I don't have DSTV. But anyway, that's the life we chose. Thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry for such a long video speaking about this, but I felt like it's very important, something to cover. Very nice interview. Go and check it out if you like. Subscribe to that channel also, and if you're new in this channel, also consider subscribing. I will appreciate it. We're trying to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of this year, 2023. So thank you so much, guys. Please don't forget to pray, and after you pray, stand up and do your part so God can do the rest. And just remember that your boy King 053, Mr. Easy Imale, salute you. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoy the content, leave your thoughts on the comment section and hit the like and subscribe button, and we will meet on the next one.